Welcome. So these videos are just random thoughts that I've had related to Buddhism, in particular Vajrayana Buddhism. I have been a practitioner for some time, starting in my early 20s. I am not a teacher. The ideas and thoughts I share here are informed from my own practice and from teachings I have either directly received or read. The opinions and ideas here are just my own. They may be incorrect, but correct or not, I thought I'd share them. I like creating videos, I like thinking about Dharma in practical terms, and also since many of these thoughts and ideas are really posed as questions, I thought others might find it helpful if they have similar questions. The Buddha taught not to take any teachings on blind faith. He encouraged careful examination so you can make up your own mind. I have no patience for Buddhist fundamentalists or conservative, culturally egocentric practitioners. In my opinion, there is no one right way to practice and understand the Dharma, and in fact I believe our understanding evolves as we journey through our lives and experiences. If my views presented here are incorrect, it's not a big deal. In my experience, incorrect views eventually get corrected one way or another, and it's not worth getting uptight or pedantic about. One other note is that these videos assume you're familiar with Vajrayana Buddhism and its forms of practice. In fact, target audience is really other Vajrayana practitioners. But if you're not a practitioner or you're new, don't be surprised if there are terms you don't know or understand. So with that introduction out of the way, let's get on with the show. So I was meditating, and as is often the case, a thought arose. I thought about the term ego fixation. So if you're like me, as soon as you heard ego fixation, you probably went, yeah, ego bad, an illusion, source of all suffering, boring, next. Recently I was practicing a form of Vajrakalaya, and in this particular form the main deity has a purba for its lower body. If you don't know, a purba is a ritual dagger-like thing where the blade has three sides, like an elongated upside-down pyramid, if that helps at all. Anyway, in this practice, the deity's lower body, in the shape of a purba, is stabbing what's described as the demon of ego fixation. Now, rightly or wrongly, when I would think about ego fixation, what I thought about was how we believe the ego is real, truly existent, and that then this leads to attachment and all kinds of suffering. But there's another way to think about the term. Rather than thinking of ego as not being real, you acknowledge it as being as real as any other apparent phenomena. Think of the room you're in, the chair you're sitting on. In a relative way, these exist, they have a function, and you interact with them. What you don't do is fixate on them and take them as the only point of reference. In that same room, along with your chair, is an ego. And the issue is not that the ego exists, it's that we have fixated on it and made it our main point of reference. A more realized person would equate equally the chair, the room, and the ego and use each appropriately. They would not identify with ego, they would identify with the space in which it exists and appreciate ego for what it is, an optional reference point from which one can choose to interact with and experience the world. If for some reason we were overly fixated on our chair as the only workable reference point, then Vajrakalaya's lower body would be depicted stabbing an office chair, the demon of chair fixation. Well, that's it. That's the thought of the day. All the best on your journey, and remember to brush your teeth.